In this video, we're breaking down Zay Flowers' rookie season, 22nd pick for the Ravens last year. He had the third most receiving yards out of the rookie receivers, 86 receptions, 1,014 yards, 6 touchdowns, and I think he was one of the best rookie receivers last year. He put up good numbers, but the tape I think was even more impressive than the raw stats. This is how I would rank every rookie receiver that I've watched just based on their 2023 tape. Puka's obviously number one. I think Tank Dell was the second best rookie receiver, but I would put Zay Flowers at third, right ahead of Dontavian Wicks. Going through his stats, he ranked in the top half of the league in every single receiver metric outside of drop rate, 7.5%, which ranked 65th out of 100 qualifying receivers. He also graded out really well in PFF's separation grade, which is based on every route. So we've got catch point and yak grade on the y-axis and separation grade on the x-axis, and he had the 10th highest separation grade, slightly above average in the catch point metric. And then this table shows his route tree from last year. We've got route percentage, target percentage, and then the rank column is based on route percentage out of the top 100 receivers in routes run. So for example, 7% of his routes were screens. That was the second highest rate in the NFL, but only 1.8% of his routes were slants, which is second lowest. So the majority of his route tree outside of screens were curls, comebacks, digs, outs. He ran a lot of whip routes relative to the rest of the league. Also had a lot of production off of broken plays. Almost 10% of his targets were on broken plays last year. But getting into his tape, the first place I want to start is the vertical element, which I think sets up the rest of his routes. He has 4.4 speed. He's fast enough to win over the top consistently. This play against the Bengals, he's actually kind of running at 80% speed, but really nice contested catch on this deep post. This play, they set him up with a fast motion across the formation. The apex defender doesn't pick him up, so he goes uncovered down the sideline, but then he's able to stop, start, change directions, make both defenders miss, and get into the end zone. And outside of broken plays and scramble drill situations, they weren't actually able to connect on many just straight up vertical routes, but he was getting open consistently, and I think with more volume, he could be the primary deep threat in a good passing offense. This play, he stacks DJ Turner on the slot fade, gets a couple yards of separation, but Lamar overthrows him. Right here, it's another slot fade against off coverage, but again, an overthrow from Lamar. This play against the Chiefs, he does a great job of setting up Trent McDuffie at the top of his route. He gets him leaning outside and then separates on the deep post. Lamar has to take the sack and he can't get it to him. So even though it wasn't his primary role as a rookie, I do think that Zay Flowers can be a high quality deep threat if Baltimore chooses to use him that way. But intermediate route running is definitely his best trait. He's sudden, quick in and out of breaks. He can start, stop instantly. This play from week 1, he's running a deep out against Derek Stingley, who's playing outside leverage. So the corner's leveraged in the same direction that he's breaking. Flowers has to show a real threat that he's running a seam. Stingley turns his hips inside. Flowers continues to accelerate right down the numbers. And then at 20 yards, he cuts his route off, just a few throttle steps, really efficient, breaking out to the sideline for an easy catch. So that was week 1. Here's another play from the divisional round against Derek Stingley. This play, he's in soft shoe press. Zay Flowers takes the inside release. The corner's right on his hip, but again, he's just so efficient in and out of his break. Stingley tries to throw up his left hand to make it easier to flip his hips to the sideline, but great job by Flowers to wipe down that arm and release contact. And I think outs were probably Zay Flowers' best route as a rookie. It only made up about 8% of his route tree, but it was his second best route from a total yardage standpoint. And comparing him to the entire league, he had the 5th highest yards per route run on out routes at 3.63. The players ahead of him were Tyreek Hill, Brandon Ayuk, Devontae Adams, and Nico Collins, so I would say that's good company. This play, they're running scissors, which was a staple concept for Todd Monken last year. They've got Rashad Bateman running a post, and then Zay Flowers intersects that with a deep out. He gets matched up with a linebacker, Cole Holcomb, so that's an automatic mismatch. Really good job at the top of the route to sell that he's breaking inside, and then easily redirects and gets 5 yards of separation. They also used him a lot on whip routes and return routes. He's got the joystick movement skills to instantly sit down and change directions. Most corners can't mirror him. This play against the Bengals, they're running another one of Todd Monken's favorite concepts called bang pivot. A lot of times this is just a 2-man concept with a bang route from the number 1, which is just like a 8 to 10 yard inbreaker, and then the number 2 either runs a quick outbreaker to the flat or just a short sit route. But you can also design this as a pure progression with a return route from the backside, which is what they have here. So So the Bengals are in cover one. The unoccupied hole defender, Jermaine Pratt, is bracketing the bang route from Mark Andrews. So you've got 3-on-2 to Lamar's first read. He goes to the backside where Zay Flowers has DJ Turner playing outside leverage on an in-breaking route. He sets him up with these walk steps initially, turns his hips to the sideline, which gets DJ Turner to overcommit, and then he sits down, quickly snaps off this route, and he's wide open over the middle of the field. And then he makes the first defender miss and gets about 25 to 30 yards after the catch. This was a big third down conversion from week one. They're in a bunch formation. Tavier Thomas is inside leverage on an out route. Flowers attacks that leverage, plants his foot, breaks out to the sideline, but he makes the catch short of the sticks, and he's able to sit down, redirect, make the first defender miss, and then get upfield and move the chains. And then the other thing that really impressed me about Zay Flowers from a route running perspective was his ability on stop routes. This play, he's isolated on the backside, outside release, threatens vertically, but then he instantly sits down and decelerates. Once again, you see the corner try to throw up a hand to stay connected to the route, but Flowers swipes that down, extends his separation. He does a great job high pointing the ball, securing it through contact, and then he's able to rip out of the first tackle attempt and get some yards after the catch. This play, he's running a deep stop against Charvarius Ward in off coverage. He stems this route shaded inside of the corner within his field of vision, but then at the top of the route, his final few steps are attacking Ward's blind spot. Once he accelerates up to his outside hip, Ward thinks he's running a vertical route, so he starts to accelerate down the field, but Flowers cuts it off. Lamar breaks the pocket, and he's able to hit him on the sideline. Another really good job here on this 2-point conversion. He releases outside, sells the outside release dig route, but then he breaks it back to the pylon. I thought this was one of Lamar's best throws from this past season. Such an awkward arm slot from a compressed pocket. Another really impressive thing that Zay Flowers showed as a rookie was the ability to extend routes and make himself available in scramble drill situations. Lamar's obviously developed into one of the best pocket passers in the NFL, but when the play breaks down, he has a rare ability to keep his eyes downfield and make difficult throws out of structure. This play from the Chiefs game, he's initially just running this underneath sit route. Lamar has his eyes downfield, but there's nothing open. Gus Edwards loses in pass pro, so he has to extend the play. Once Lamar starts to move around in the pocket, the Chiefs secondary plasters to their receivers, so whoever's closest to you, that's your assignment. And Flowers gets matched up with a linebacker, Nick Bolton. He's able to easily separate vertically. Lamar finds him in the back of the end zone for a touchdown. This play from week 6, they're running mesh in the red zone, but the Titans are in zone coverage, so that's not really an effective concept. Instead of these two drags acting like rub routes for man coverage defenders, the hook players just pass them off and there's nothing open initially. But you can see Lamar gives him a little point to the inside. He breaks the pocket. You got Zay Flowers matched up with an edge rusher that's dropping into coverage, so easily reverses path, separates into the end zone. Another scramble drill situation here against the Browns. It's 2nd and 29, so Cleveland's playing really soft coverage. Nothing's open to start out. Lamar breaks the pocket. Zay extends his route. It's so deep, the all-22 camera isn't even zoomed out far enough, but he makes the catch for a big play. And then Zay Flowers was also really effective in the gadget role where he was taking tunnel screens, bubble screens, jet sweeps, handoffs. He ranked 4th in the NFL with 21 forced missed tackles last season. Everything that makes him an effective route runner contributes to his ability after the catch. He can gear up and down instantly. He's slippery to avoid the first tackler, and he has really good awareness with his back to the defense of what direction the first defender's coming from. This play against the Texans, just a simple sit route with the safety crashing down. He definitely takes his eyes off of the ball here at the last second, which I wouldn't recommend, but still secures the catch and spins out of the first tackle. Right here, it's a bubble screen. He's able to stack multiple cuts together, jukes out Jair Brown, jukes out Fred Warner. Right here, he catches this drag route with Devin Witherspoon in coverage. Quick look behind him to spot the defender's location, and then on command, he sits down, stops his momentum, changes directions, accelerates over the middle. And then one of his first career receptions from week 1 starts it off with a nasty spin move to make the first defender miss, and then transitions into a jump cut to avoid the second defender. And then he gets a touchdown on this play from week 12. The Ravens are running a GT counter bash with Zay Flowers in jet motion. So the blocking scheme is GT counter. It's down blocks from everyone on the O-line, but the backside guard and backside tackle are pulling across the formation. Bash means it's a quarterback read option, and then you've got Zay Flowers as the give option on the jet sweep. Lamar gives it to Zay. He avoids Derwin James, makes the corner miss, and then then he's got wide open space to the end zone. The main thing I would say Zay Flowers struggled with as a rookie was drops. He had 7 drops and a 7.5% drop rate, which isn't terrible, but bottom half of the league. Some of these were more focused drops. Some were taking his eye off the ball at the last second. Sometimes he would let the ball hit his chest. Maybe it's something that improves, but he's been consistently about a 7 to 10% drop rate receiver for all of his career dating back to college. It's not to the level where it's going to significantly hold him back, but something you'd like to see develop. And I also don't think he's great against press coverage. He's definitely quick enough to create some separation at the line of scrimmage, but at his size, he has a difficult time powering through contact if corners are able to land their punch. And the fact that they pretty much never had him running quick slants is telling. I don't think they view him as a receiver that can release versus inside leverage press and win over the middle on a slant. And it's not even a Ravens offense thing. Like I said, he ranked 99th out of 100 qualifying receivers in slant route percentage, but all of the Ravens' other primary receivers were in the top half of the league. OBJ ranked 6th, Nelson Aguilar ranked 33rd, and Rashad Bateman ranked 41st. So I feel extremely confident after his rookie year that Zay Flowers is going to be a good receiver in the NFL. Whether or not he becomes a true number one, whatever that means to you, is yet to be seen. It'll be interesting this next year to see how the Ravens use him, especially now with OBJ off the team. I think with higher volume, he can be a really productive deep threat. He's already a high-level route runner, especially outside the numbers. And relative to other receivers, a lot of his production did come off of design touches like screens and handoffs, but I don't think you have to use him that way to get him the ball. I'm not anti-Zay Flowers screen targets, but he can do a lot more than that. And if they transition him to more of a grown-up receiver role, I think he will have success. The main thing he needs to improve are drops like we talked about, but hard to really bank on that happening. And then translating his suddenness and quickness into better releases off the line of scrimmage. On Reception Perception, which is a great site, definitely recommend subscribing to that. Matt Harmon did a Zay Flowers profile, and he had him with a 62.9% success rate against press. That's 35th percentile compared to every other receiver he's done, which isn't terrible, but definitely room to improve. But he only faced press on 12.2% of his routes since he was playing flanker and some snaps in the slot.